Hello, I'm Rory.
And I'm Jim. And today we are going to be talking about writer's block because it is November, which means it is National Novel Writing Month or
Nanu
NaNoWriMo.
Nanu.
Now, Rory, both of us are writers, and we've both come into the constant challenge of writer's block.
Yes, that is a huge thing. That is a real thing.
It
It
is
can be paralyzing. It could ruin your weekend. It really can.
it can just put you back, and especially when you're trying to pump out a novel in a month, it's really hard to have writer's block.
Yes. Yes. So we're gonna be talking about some ways to combat that and to get you back on track. And if you don't mind, Jim, I'll knock the first
Take
one
it
out.
away.
All right. Some great ideas you can do if you're writing in a certain genre and it's a classic and you're stuck in that genre. Read something from the very beginning. If you're writing steampunk, read Jules Verne or H.G. Wells, and you can see what kind of tropes they used then that we don't use now. You can recreate that. I like the method of taking one scene out of a book, say 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and rewriting that one scene in a completely different way, but that the beginning and end still flow with the story. You could change the genre for a second. You could change who's saying what, the type of character, and different personalities, but the beginning and the end are still the same. You can fixate on one idea, one theme or motif, and just ponder it on your own and write everything you can about it. And so that can kind of get your brain working again. You could also talk to a friend, get an idea. Or you could get those Rory story cubes that are out there, and you shake them and you different symbols on them, and you have to write a short story about that. I personally like going into a group friend chat and saying, "Give me 3 ideas," so I can write a 500-word story about it. And you might come up with some great one-liners or a great idea that you can just shelve and use for a book later. So never throw out old stuff. Reread your old stuff, and no matter how embarrassed or ashamed you are from it, don't throw it out. You can always rework it.
Absolutely. And write a fanfic. That's another one. Like, take a minute, short story, maybe one of your favorite characters from one of your favorite novels or TV shows or movies, and just write a short little, like, what would they do in this situation, or just give them something really interesting and just kind of get those creative juices flowing. Another thing I like to do is read in a different genre than what you're writing. So if you're writing science fiction, maybe read a heist novel or watch a heist movie or something. You don't have to just read, but if you're writing something, indulge in some media that's not of that genre to kind of pull some like ideas. For example, you're stuck on a scene in a fantasy novel, and so go and maybe they're trying to break into a castle or they need to rescue some, I don't know, whatever. Watch a heist movie and be like, oh, I'm gonna steal that and put it in and make like a heist scene in your novel or in your comic book or in your short story or whatever.
So if you were like remaking The Italian Job as a fantasy, instead of Mini Coopers, can you have like those miniature horses to like heist away all the gold?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Everybody's on miniature horses.
Yes, and miniature Scottish Highland cows. That is the thing right now.
Do people
They're
ride those?
Freaking adorable as pets. They're freaking adorable.
Awesome. Okay, back on track. So National Novel Writing Month. Other tips and tricks for beating that nasty writer's block.
I think having a short story competition with your friends is great. I always think Mary Shelley, when she wrote Frankenstein and they were at that cabin on the lake or whatever, and it was like 4 or 5 of them who could write the scariest story. Yeah, who could write the scariest short story? Who could write the most intense romance short story? And it is fun to write about something that you're uncomfortable writing about. Because it forces you to think, and it puts you're using a different part of your brain for that. If you're using your left brain, you're very technical versus very creative. Write something other, and you're probably going to have to do some research into it if you're writing something technical, which could then spark another idea.
Exactly. Don't be afraid of research. Go deep on something. Pick a topic, and do some research. That can kind of generate some ideas. and anything. Like you're like, oh, I'm really interested. Maybe you're interested in underwater basket weaving.
Oh,
Go
favorite.
deep, man. Go deep. Dig. Search those Wikipedia articles. Find those random internet sites. Go deep. It doesn't have to be the nice thing about when you're writing fiction is it doesn't necessarily have to be accurate. It doesn't.
Right.
It's not bad that if it is, and especially if you're writing something that you're trying to be more realistic, then accuracy is good. But at this point, you're just generating ideas, so it doesn't matter how out there conspiracy theory it is. It can if it generates an interesting idea, that can be really helpful in breaking through some of those writer blocks.
And that
Another
could be
thing,
hard. That could be hard to break through because Scott and I, when writing Steam Patriots, we like the technical part of it and we want things to be as accurate as possible. But we know there's going to be those sticklers out there. So, excuse me, actually, that didn't exist at that time. To which we had to do our research and say, actually, it did. It just wasn't around. And it's fiction. Tweak it however you want. Make it interesting. It's
right.
What do they call it? The rule of cool in D&D. If it works, just run with it.
Yes, exactly. Another thing that can be really helpful when you're dealing with writer's block, and this is going to be kind of out there, but there are different strategies for getting your creative juices flowing, and there are certain activities that can generate those. So you can do something that's maybe paint a picture. Painting is one of those things that can get those creative juices flowing and get you into the flow of things. So painting can be really helpful. It doesn't matter if it's good. That's not the point. You're not painting for anybody else, and it can go right in the trash after. That's fine.
Right.
It's just one of those things that kind of gets the creative juices flowing. Freestyle rapping is another one of those things. If you're comfortable in your room by yourself with nobody around, freestyle rapping, that can be something to get the juices flowing. I know that's kind of a last resort for Rory.
That is I've never, even alone, I won't do that.
But it's there. It's for you. If you can get over that, it can be a really helpful tool to get that writing juices flowing.
Then I wouldn't do it because even the mice on the walls will hear me. That's embarrassing.
You hear yourself. That's
the problem. Yep. Yeah. And just like recording yourself and listening to it again. You're like, oh, I don't like the way that sounds.
I don't like that. Oof. Yeah.
Oh, my voice.
Well, Rory, I think
these are some tips and tricks. Yeah. I think we covered a good ground. Good ground. On our Instagram and social pages, we're going to start having some writers' content and prompts to help you get over these. So I think one of the first ones we're putting out is write a cafe scene. Be as detailed or as short as possible. And why is it always a French street cafe?
I know.
That's always the default. So write something else. Make it a space cafe.
Street cafe.
Right. Make it a German street cafe. Yes. Excellent. All right, Jim. Thanks.
So yeah, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and check us out on Patreon, and make sure you subscribe and like. Thanks, guys.